The other day, I was clearing my notes and I came across a talk that I had given about imposter syndrome and my experiences with the imposter syndrome. And the topic is very relevant because we keep hearing about people being imposters or playing the imposter role, or you see someone at work or a colleague or people in social media bragging, posting brags about very high salaries or about how they got into a certain role. And sometimes when you overreach and achieve something, you then question, are you really worth it? Are you there because you're an imposter? Or are you having the seat at the table because you deserve to be there? But before that, what exactly is an imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome, also known as the impostorism, is a psychological occurrence to those who may doubt their skills, or talents, or accomplishments. They may have a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as fraud. But then you should get over that. You will always have that fear, get over it. So, in order to explain this, let's look at a brief video clip about this topic.
People, this imposter syndrome, does everybody know what we're talking about when we say imposter? It's like,
I don't really know that term.
Well, particularly for minorities, there's this feeling like because you've been told that you're not good enough, that when you're in a room, you're wondering, well, how did I get here if I've been told I'm not good enough? Women feel it oftentimes because society says you shouldn't be doing that, right? So you feel like an imposter in your own life. You feel like, especially if you've achieved success or you're in rooms that you're not supposed to be in because society has told you that, you think maybe somebody's going to discover that I shouldn't be here, right? That's imposter syndrome.
Clip kind of made me reflect on imposter syndrome. Michelle Obama, one of the most successful Black women in America, wife of the former president, very candidly talks about her experiences in dealing with this syndrome. Let me share my experience. Way back as a young graduate, I was hired by a consulting firm that wanted to position me as their hands on tech specialist on mainframes in London. This was an era when IBM mainframes were the mainstream of the computing era in corporate world. But as a fresh graduate, I had not learned COBOL, DB2, CICS, and mainframe computing because universities were focused on teaching us newer technologies, C, C++. But this consulting firm was confident of my abilities, put me through a boot camp, and got me a visa and air ticket and said, boom, you're going to land there. After landing in UK, the imposter syndrome really hit me in the face. For the first 3 to 4 weeks at the client location, I was neck deep in learning the new technologies, learning the new ways of working, and the new culture in a new place and location. All the time, being afraid of being exposed as that imposter. But to be fair, this really blew over pretty soon. So pretty soon, my muscle memory of learning new technologies kicked in. I was able to learn new technologies, get hands-on, and prove myself. And over the next 2 decades in my working career, I've lived and worked in a dozen countries across 3 continents. And every time I take up a new assignment, a new gig or a new job or a new role with new technologies, I look back on that experience as a fresher when I had to learn something brand new and apply it immediately, all the while feeling as an imposter. Now, this feeling of being an imposter is something that has never left me. In a sense, I'm glad it is not, because that gives me an edge. It gets me to stay focused whenever I take up something new. So, in a sense, I can argue that we are all imposters in varying degrees. The guy you see posting that humble brag about his huge salary bump and stock options fan using an anon social media profile, he is probably an imposter trying to rile up the crowd, get some clickbait. And the young developer attending an interview for a stack role when all she knows is front end UI coding is also probably an imposter, but a good kind of imposter because she is willing to stretch herself. The new manager, just promoted to that role, is probably playing that imposter, waiting for people to see through him or her, but is willing to put her energy or time and effort to show that yes, you deserve the seat at the table. So, what does it all mean? You never get over the feeling that you are an imposter, but you should be able to see through imposters. Just like in the interview, Miss Obama humorously points out that in many situations, after she quickly got over the feeling that she was the imposter, she realized that the guy or the lady next to her at the table was the real imposter. So, as you rise high up in your career, you will see people around you who are probably trying to get over their own imposter syndrome. At the same time, you may have your own. So, it's for you to get over yours and see through what people are saying in the rest of the